I would like to share with you a relationship blueprint I call relationship alchemy. And I have this in 3 phases of coming into your wholeness and experiencing wholeness within a relationship. Right? Alchemy basically is magic. I call it moon magic. It's healing, it's ceremonious, it's harmonious, and it's about discovering each other, learning from each other, and having a sense of self-mastery through the mirror that is the person and what they show you, reveal to you, and express to you that further opens you up, triggers you, helps you to loosen up, unwind, and reach higher levels of self-esteem, self-respect, self-worth, and self-knowledge, right? We gain all of that through a relationship alchemy. The first thing I have is availability. Now, this blueprint starts first with yourself, right? Starts with yourself, right? To reach that wholeness within yourself so that you can share something very precious, right? Share your gift with another, right? In order to have a gift, you need to first share the gift with yourself, recognize it, become aware of it, study it, practice it, right? Become very good at it, and then becomes a gift, right? Become very gifted. And therefore you can therefore share it with another, right? And that's, to me, what it means to step into your wholeness, is to feel very gifted, right? To feel very talented with your life, right? And that gift and that talent that you have uncovered, that you practice, that becomes a part of your daily ritual, your life force, basically. It's like your craftsmanship, your livelihood, and the thing about you that really helps you to level up in the many areas of your life. Right? It's what makes you you. It's the spiritual you, the deeper you. When you feel gifted and talented, you are basically developing the spiritual you, which is the authentic you. So availability, right? Availability, to be available to yourself. That's a big one, right? We're not available to ourselves, and therefore we cannot be available to a partner, right? It's just not practical to think that. So that's about openness, self-care, and integrity, right? So a person who is unavailable usually lacks openness, self-care, and integrity, and therefore they're going to lack openness within a relationship. Right? And therefore the relationship's not going to have openness. It's not going to be, there's not going to be a sense of self-care, right? If somebody doesn't care about themselves, they're not going to care about a relationship, right? If they're just throwing themselves around, they're going to be thrown around a relationship, right? That's just how it is. So when we talk about emotionally unavailable, mentally unavailable, physically unavailable, it just means that they're not practicing openness, self-care, and integrity within their own space. And then we have receptivity. And receptivity is in your own sort of, right, your own sort of practice of self-love and coming into your space, your wholeness, establishing your altar, or creating your household mandala that is your identity, your personality, your persona, that is you, right? Receptivity is very big. It has to do with trusting yourself. That's intuition, right? It's about trusting yourself, intuition. And how we gain that is through discovery, to learn, to reinvent, right? So a lot of people who are not receptive, right, in a relationship or just in their own life, usually they lack discovery. They don't want to learn, right? Even they don't want to learn from their mistakes. Usually that shows up as judgment or resentment, or even can show up as guilt and regret, right? You don't want to learn from your mistakes, right? And then reinvent, right? So people who lack receptivity struggle with self-discovery, what it means to learn and what it means to reinvent yourself. Because receptivity is about a constant blooming. It's about being in a flow of love, a flow of prosperity, a flow of getting to know yourself, right? So that you can get to know a partnership. And all of that is about discovery. It's all about learning, right? Learning and about reinvention, right? And if we're not receptive in a relationship, or if somebody who's not receptive to us, it just means that they don't know how to discover themselves. They don't know what it means to discover. They have lost their passion for learning new things, or they've gotten very, very kind of caught in their ways. We call it set in your ways. And that's just a person who has gotten out of the rhythm of learning, right? Gotten out of the child's mind, which is to always be learning, right? When you're always learning, you're always growing, you're always healing, and you're always excelling. When you really stop learning and you get very set in your ways, very fixated, very like, this is who I am, and just very calcified in your personality and your persona, your ego, your mindset, you lack this sort of fluidity, this chi, this vital life force, this chi that is very much about healing, growing, and excelling. And that's what everything about learning is. So receptivity is in your household mandala, that is you with you, right? Finding your wholeness, right? Finding the feng shui of your life, right? A balanced home that is your heart, your gut, your mind, is receptivity, which is a self-discovery, get really, really passionate about learning, right? Whatever that is, that makes you feel gifted and talented. And then reinvent yourself 2 times a year, reinvent yourself 2 times a month, reinvent yourself every new moon, every full moon. Either that's fashion, taking on new clothes, doing your hair different style, wearing different nail polish, right? Getting different glasses, right? Practicing a new instrument, or taking up a different sort of, if you like to read a particular poetry, take on a totally different type of poetry, right? Reinvent yourself, because that's always going to keep you fluid, agile, mobile, right? And that's receptivity, right? To be trusting yourself and to be having an intuition that brings this liveliness to you, right? The sense of going out into the world and gaining knowledge from your experiences, right? And then the last one I have is Dharma. And Dharma is, we know, is with yourself, right? When you have a household mandala that is you, the spiritual you, that is your aura and your frequency that you are in a relationship, right? The frequency that has the strongest sort of command in the relationship, especially in a partnership, is the Dharma. And the Dharma, the 2 individuals share. That's a very powerful frequency that usually brings 2 people together for great prosperity, or lineage, as well as creativity, right? Very, very powerful energy when 2 people are in their Dharma. It creates this radiant. It activates the radiant bodies of both individuals and gives the people this glow, or this magnetism to success and victory and these kinds of things. Dharma in your household mandala, the altar that is you, right, or the feng shui that is you in your fashion that you are, is creativity, purpose, and self-esteem. That's you in you, right? And when you really kind of establish that, you get to know that, you cultivate that, you become gifted and talented at that. When you come into a relationship, right, the relationship will basically mirror that to you, and it will be amplified within the relationship, especially if you are a woman, right? Because you have a very, very strong spiritual leadership in a relationship that men don't really necessarily have, right? We talk about the strength of the woman is really the strength of a man, emotionally, mentally, and even many times physically, because we have a spiritual leadership. Men have a material leadership, right? They know how to build and make money and, power and the power games, but we have a spiritual leadership, right? And that has to do with Dharma and the frequency a woman invites into a partnership when she has this sort of defined Dharma in her life, or creativity, purpose, or self-esteem, actually can elevate a relationship to a particular caliber where a man, not only, the sex, the power, the money, he gets to level up and gets to experience a man of nobility because of the woman, because of that sort of radiance and dedication, determination, and sort of life force she has towards her creativity and her sense of purpose and drive to improve the community and to refine the community and nourish the community, because that's what Dharma is, nourishing the community so that the community takes care of everybody, everybody's balanced, everybody has an exchange of artistry, and the community is well taken care of, right? So again, this is with you getting to your availability, getting to your receptivity, getting to your Dharma. That will create a very, very beautiful house mandala. That's your aura. And you'll have a frequency, especially as a woman, that when you come into that partnership, you will amplify within the partnership availability, receptivity, and Dharma. And as a woman, you'll also be able to deflect partnerships or men who you can sense they're not available, they're not receptive, and they don't really want to participate in their Dharma because they don't take care of themselves. They don't have a sense of self-discovery. Therefore, how are you going to have Dharma if you don't take care of yourself? If you're not trying to discover yourself? You're just in mediocrity, or just kind of fooling yourself, or just kind of half-assing it, or just kind of like stagnant, or whatever Dharma, dogma, or judgments, or these kinds of sort of guilt or regrets that we kind of bind ourselves to, and right? So you with you, your household mandala, get available with yourself. Work on openness, self-care, and integrity. That's a talent and gift. Receptivity, work on discovery, learn what it means to learn and reinvent yourself. Get talented and gifted with that. The last thing is Dharma. Get very talented and gifted at creativity, purpose, and self-esteem. And when you create that household mandala, the altar that is the spiritual you, the authentic you, the childlike you will amplify that in a partnership, and therefore your partnership will be more of creative expression, right? Because you as a woman will just naturally draw that in, right? And you'll be able to attract a partner that will be able to experience that with you rather than attracting a partner who is emotionally unavailable, who doesn't want to learn, or who doesn't have high self-esteem, and therefore you're just kind of struggling in conflict with them and anguish and all that kinds of sort of blockages that really just leave you out in the cold, or just kind of wandering or confused or let down, right? So we can really level up to a certain caliber, so we can just naturally bring in a more fruitful, nourishing partnership that will grow an orchard for us, because that's what we need. We need a lineage that is growing an orchard, not individuals together. They're a tree that has dying, rotten apples because there's no self-esteem, no self-discovery, no integrity to maintain the nutrients, the health of that tree. We need you to have a lineage with an orchard. So do what you will with this blueprint, this pathway for relationship alchemy.